So here we have another recipe towards Christmas, because obviously with us cooking and buying a little bit too much, this is another nice use-up one for you. But if you want to, you can have a look at the website on Love Food Hate Waste. You can use the portion calculator, so it's quite a good way of figuring out what you're going to need and what you won't need, so that's worth a look at. And also do have a look at the hints and tips on there. There are absolutely loads to help you through the Christmas period and wasting less food. But if it does happen, we are going to do the classic turkey and vegetable curry that we all know and love and hear about. So this is, except mine's going to be slightly different. I'm not going to do the curry in the sense of using peppers and usual sort of curry vegetables. We're going to actually use our leftover roasted vegetables. Now obviously at Christmas we do our parsnips and potatoes and carrots. I've got some swede in here, and then obviously we have our roast potatoes too. You know, you often end up with 2 or 3 of these left over. It's only natural, it's the way it goes. You're worrying about cooking for large amounts of people, so it does happen. These would freeze. You could pop these into the freezer. These takeaway containers are fantastic. You could put that straight in. The most important thing to remember with the freezer is a label, okay? So you just need to make sure that everything is labelled. So we've got roast potatoes, okay? If it's not labelled, every time you go into the freezer, you're going to think, oh, what was this, what's that? So you need to be able to see it clearly, and then it means that you're going to be able to use it up. So straight into the freezer with those. Same with those vegetables we're going as well. We're going to do the same thing with our curry when we've made it. You know, you can pre-prepare this and serve it a little bit later on in the week. But we need these potatoes, so let's take those back out. Now then, but to get going on this, I would like a curry base, obviously, because we are doing a curry, so we want to get those flavours in there. So what I'm going to do is start off by slicing an onion. I've said in some of my previous other ones to keep hold of your skins and things, especially towards Christmas, because you can be doing your own stocks for your gravies. If you're doing your own turkey gravy or anything, the skin of the onion keeps everything lovely and brown. You get the colour on vegetable stocks and chicken stocks, so worth having a go with that if you've not tried it. So slice the onion through, and then we're going to get that in and start getting it to sweat down, which is basically just softening it. So we have a nice sizzle on that. It's very important to start with a nice warm pan when you're cooking. You don't want things sitting in cold oil. So onions are going around and around. We need to start building up our flavours with this. So as I've said in other previous ones about dried herbs, really good to cook with, but you need to put them in at this stage. So a lot of us have these dried herbs with their past the best before dates. They're perfectly fine to use. But I'm going to use a good handful of those. You put them in at the beginning with warm oil. They're going to release all of their natural flavours again, so really good way of using them up. Try and use them up making your own rubs and marinades, things like that. So let's build some more flavour. I've just got a medium curry powder. Again, these can often end up going on and on, but the best before is just the manufacturer's guideline. It might mean that you might need a little bit more of it, that's all, if you've had it for a good bit of time. So we're building up a paste at the base. This is what you must always do when you're doing a curry. It takes that harshness of flavour out of it. It's quite important that you do your spices early on. I've got a bit of cumin here. But again, this is really what you have in the cupboard. Instead of fresh chilies, I'm just using a pinch of chili flakes. These are fantastic, but just use them liberally. They are very, very spicy. 1 pinch of those will do. So we're getting some beautiful scents coming from this already. We're just going to leave that just to get cooked down a wee bit more. Again, taking the harshness out of it. I want to add some garlic. If you've got fresh ginger, do use some of that as well. Or you could use powdered, exactly the same principle. So garlic cloves, I'm just going to give those a quick bash with the side of the knife. It takes a lot of work out for you. The peel comes straight off. Dead lazy. If you want to, you can roast your whole garlic bulbs. Absolutely stunning, roasted whole in the oven. Great for mashed potatoes and sauces and things. So quick chop through. By squashing it, it's done all the work for us already. So right, nice. So that, I'm keeping it quite big. I like to be able to taste my garlic. I haven't put this in at the beginning. We don't want it to go into too hot a oil and go bitter. So I want that in a bit further towards the end. So now we're going to start building up our wet ingredients now. So we just want a little splash of water. So you're looking at about 1/4 of a pint. Okay. So this is going to bring all the powdered ingredients together. So we've just got a nice liquid in there. Now tomatoes. I want to use tomatoes as the base. Now obviously you can use what you have. If you've got 1 tin of chopped tomatoes, that would be great. If you've got half a tin in the cupboard, use that up. You can use a little bit of tomato puree going in there as well, which I'm going to do. But if you have a box of salad tomatoes, or a little tub of these, like these left, Try and keep these in the fridge. It does prolong their lives for a little bit longer. But let's get some of these cut up and use them up. Fresh tomato sauces are one of the most fantastic things you can make. So if you do have salad tomatoes that need using, try and get yourself a tomato sauce made. That will freeze afterwards. You've got lazy meals for pastas, lasagnas, anything that you want. So we'll get those sliced through. Keep a few of those for something else. Right, good stir. I'm going to add a bit of my chopped tomato into here. That was just half a tin, so that's great. That uses that up. And then all we want to do now is just add a vegetable stock cube. Or if you've made your vegetable stock, you could add that in as well, instead of a cube, which are even better, save a bit of money. Right, so now we're going to pop in our roasted vegetables into our curry sauce that we've built. So that's looking really good. A nice simmer away, it's just starting to bubble up, so that's great. So we've got our bits of swede and carrot and parsnip in there, all the typical things that get roasted, so that's going straight in. It's already pretty much cooked. This is a nice fast dish. Okay, so that's going on now. Right, then we need our potatoes going in. So I'm just going to cut these down a little bit smaller. Now these are going to be lovely in here. Now if you think about things like sort of sagaloo and things like that you see in the curry houses and things, these are already sort of par-cooked potatoes that go into this. So this is perfect. We've got a nice bit of a skin on these. So these are going to be really, really beautiful in here. So like I say, we're just going to cut them down. And then I'm going to leave this just to simmer for a moment. And I'm actually going to just show you a really fast flatbread recipe to go with this. Okay, these are amazing. So, so good to try at home. Right, I'm just going to leave those just to simmer just for a moment before we put the meat in, because we're going to use our cooked turkey in there. But next job, so I have another frying pan on the back you can see here. I want this to be really, really hot and it's dry. There's no oil in there at all. So this flatbread recipe is basically self-raising flour and water. Very simple to remember. This is all you need to remember. We're not measuring it. If you did want to measure it, I've probably got about 150 grams of flour in there. Self-raising is good because it puffs up. So all we're going to do is just slowly start adding some water into this, okay? So we don't end up with a big mess of dough and batter in there. We just want to do it slowly as we go. And all I would like to do is just pop a little bit of seasoning and some flavouring in at this stage. Now this is again where it hands over to you a little bit as to what you want to put in. I'm putting a bit of salt and pepper in there as well. Let's put some of our dried herbs and then maybe just a little pinch of the chilli flakes, but you could use Cajun spice in here, Moroccan spice, anything. Really anything that you have. So keep mixing this through. So again, just a consistency that you're able to work with. We're not even using a rolling pin for this. It's the simplest thing in the world. These are fantastic in the summertime for go on the barbecue as well. They go with curries and kebabs and things like that. So we've just got a nice bit of dough there. I'm just going to pinch a bit of that out just to roll it out on. All I'm going to do is just break that with my hands, okay? And I'm just going to use the palm of my hands just to squash it out. Our pan is smoking, smoking hot, which is fantastic. That's what we want. And we're going to literally put those straight in, okay? They are going to puff up and rise in the pan nice and quickly. They literally take 2 minutes. These can be frozen as well, so once you cook them. So if we've got a leftover curry here and a flatbread straight from the cupboard with our ingredients, this is costing us very little money and it means that we haven't had to go to the shop, which is even better. So let me just have a little tidy up. Get rid of that. So now we need to add our cooked meat into here. So we've got our curry simmering away there, our lovely roasted vegetables in there. That looks fabulous already, but we need some meat in there. Obviously you can keep it vegetarian if you wanted to. We're just going to add in some cooked turkey. I'm just going to cut that down. The turkey has a beautiful, strong flavour to it as well, especially if you use some of the brown meat from the legs, even better. So you're getting a real kick of flavour from this meat. I know it's very typical turkey curry, but if we can just do a little bit of a change with our homemade flatbreads as well, it's going to be fantastic. You could do a nice yoghurt, cucumber and mint dip to go on with it as well, which is literally just any kind of yoghurt, you're naturally a Greek, and then you can just add a little bit of mint sauce to that, maybe a bit of cucumber if you've got it. Right, let's get the meat in there, and then we need to check these breads. It's nearly time to dish this up. Now if you've got coriander, obviously you can use some of that in here if you wanted to. You can also use some other herbs if you want. You can throw some chives in there, anything like that. So let's check these breads. They should have a nice, beautiful colour on the other side of them. Just starting to puff up slightly, that's exactly what we're looking for. So we're pretty much there now. We're going to start dishing up. Let's bring our bowl over. Very, very fast recipe this is. Because everything's already cooked, we don't need to spend a long time on this. We've already par-cooked all that veg. It smells fantastic. So obviously we've got rather a large pan of this here. So just while our flatbreads, again, use a plastic container, okay? This means that you can then go on to freeze the rest down that you don't need. Okay, these little containers are amazing. It means that you can put a decent label on them and they will happily go into the freezer. They stack up as well, so you're not having to worry about space. So again, a label on there like we did earlier, straight into the freezer. Let your food cool down before you put it in. You want to get it to a nice temperature first, room temperature, before it goes into the freezer. Okay, so bowl of curry. We need our bread to go with this. Fantastic, look at these breads. I think you'll agree they are very, very quick. Let's cut those down, garnish them onto the side of the plate. These are brilliant with dips as well. So if you wanted to recreate these for the Christmas period, maybe make some of your own homemade dips to go with these. If you've got friends coming over, these are another quick, fast recipe to do. So that's our vegetable curry ready to go with our homemade flatbreads. I hope you'll enjoy making it.
Derbyshire, we waste 63,000 tonnes of food, which is a big waste for the environment, and it also costs taxpayers £6.3 million to dispose of in landfill. When food goes into landfill, it rots and produces greenhouse gases, which is really bad for the environment and can cause climate change. So we need to reduce food waste by the tips that you've got today, or use our food waste collections if we have unavoidable food waste. So things like banana peelings can go into your food waste collection.